you may have already noticed my teeth, because they've been filed into sharp points using a dentist drill. But the reason that I became known as the Lizard Man, the reason that Ripley's, believe it or not, in 2000 gave me the name Lizard Man, was because of my split tongue. That's right, my tongue has been bifurcated, cut in two like that of a snake, and I'll show it to you now. But I'm not just going to show you that my tongue is split, I'm going to show you what you can do with a split tongue, ladies and gentlemen, because for years now, I've been practicing, so that I've been able to perfect 4 different maneuvers that I can do with a split tongue that you cannot do with just one. And I've given each one of these maneuvers a name. The first one I've chosen to call the open and close, and it goes like this. Right? It's nice and simple. It's a little bit like oral applause if you think about it. Now, the second maneuver is a bit more difficult. Took me a lot longer to learn. I call this one the up and down. Oh my God. Kid's laughing, he doesn't even know why. Now, if you like the open and close and the up and down, you're going to love the third one because it's a combination of those first two. It's something I call the Texas Twister in honor of my home state, and it goes like this. But it was the fourth and final maneuver, ladies and gentlemen, that took me the longest amount of time to learn and also the longest amount of time to name. In fact, I didn't actually name this fourth one, my wife did. One day she asked me what I was doing, and I told her I'm trying to come up with a name for this move, and she said, well, I'll tell you what I call it, and so I'll present it to you now as the Oh My God. But as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just here to show you what I've done to my body, but also what I can do with my body. I'm going to open up with the sideshow act with a classic, an absolute classic. In fact, the man that invented this act, Melvin Burkhart, was one of the first people that Robert Ripley hired to perform at his very first Ripley's Auditorium in New York City back in the 1930s and 40s. Now, Melvin's act was called the Original Human Blockhead. What he did was he took a hammer and a nail, and he drove the nail directly into his face using the hammer. Now, I thought today, instead of a hammer and a nail, I'd use something a little bit more familiar, probably to more people. This is a fork. I also like it because you can see that it's all one piece. This is not a trick or an illusion. This is a result of careful care and training over years of time that allows me to do this. Now, you know, the very first time I saw a man shove a fork into his face, I was just as stunned as all of you. Just as stunned, I know, because I also forgot to applaud. That's why we do it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're constantly looking at people like me saying, why do you do it? It's that sound right there, the sound of the applause. That's what we live for. Now, right now, I'm going to take this out of my head because that was just the warm-up. I'm getting my nose ready for the next stunt I want to perform for you. But before I move on, it is very important, kids, remember this cleanliness. Always clean your tools off. You know, you people who are groaning, I watch you everywhere I go at fairs and museums and events, and you eat salty snacks all day long, but I make my own and everybody gets grossed out. That's not fair. But as I said, I was using this to warm myself up. And warm myself up for what? For this. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my cranial corkscrew. It's a little something I invented back in 2005. It's become a new modern sideshow classic. The way it works is very simple. I take the tip of it right here, place it to my nose, much like the fork. Then I turn the handle. Now the more I turn, the further it goes. It travels through my sinus passages, down the back of my throat, and ultimately out my mouth, having completely transversed my skull. I told you all that so I could ask you this. Do you guys want to see it? Yeah! Fantastic, because I was going to do it whether you wanted me to or not. Here we go. Right up to the nose. I'm going to slide in this first bit right here, and I can still actually talk to you right now because it hasn't actually moved from my sinuses to the back of my throat yet. As I turn the handle, I'm actually going to have to open my jaw up and slightly dislocate it so that it's wide enough open so it can travel through. Here we go. Oh, 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 oh,
Take it out of your mouth first.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cranial corkscrew. Everything's salty today. Now I would like to do one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude this show. And before I do that one last thing, I'd like to tell you just a couple more things before we get to it. Number one, this is Ripley's, believe it or not, world famous auditorium, a collection of weird, wild, and bizarre artifacts and stories from around the world. If you like any of the stuff you see me do here on the outside, I guarantee you're going to absolutely love what's on the inside. But even if you don't particularly care for some of what I've done here on the outside, remember, this is incredible stuff from around the world. You're sure to find something in there that tickles your fancy. And to let you know, so you can tell your friends what a good time you had here when you explain to them that you were watching a green man screw himself on stage. It's one way you can put it. There are other ways to describe it. But when you're telling them that, do let them know that I'll also be here tomorrow and Thursday from 10:30 to 4:30 each day with your shows on the half hour every hour. But now, to conclude, I'd like to give you a demonstration of one of my favorite stunts. See, I mentioned a lot of the things I've done to my body earlier, but one thing I didn't point out was my ears. If you look closely, you'll see that my ears have not only been pierced and stretched, but also conditioned for strength. I do in fact hold the current world's record for the world's strongest earlobes. And I'm going to demonstrate for you that now with this keg right here. You'll see there's a chain attached to it. I'm going to use that chain to attach the keg to my head via my ears, like so. Let's get that first one in right there. We'll get the second one in right here. Now what's about to happen is I'm about to stand up with this weight suspended off nothing more than these thin strips of flesh. What I'm going to ask each and every one of you to do is to help me out. Ladies and gentlemen, I need your energy to be able to pull this off. So we're all going to count down together. 3, 2, 1. When we get to 1, you guys are going to yell and scream as loud as you can, and I'm going to stand up. If I am able to lift this cake up off the ground and into the air, that's when I want you to go even more crazy, get even louder, because if you do, I might do something a little bit crazier and special for you as well. Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
All right, here we go. Let me hear you all counting. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there you have it. A pierced weightlift and a swing, and I didn't even hit the baby with the keg. How about that? Thank you so much. You guys were absolutely incredible. It's been a great amount of fun for me today to be out here performing and doing this stuff for you. I'll invite you now, if you haven't already gone in. I see some people that I know have already come in, got to see the museum and come out and caught another show. If you want to go in right now, now is the perfect time, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't got a photo yet, you want to grab one, don't be shy, step on up. And if you do go in, the souvenir guidebook has a lovely picture of me in there. I'd be happy to sign that for you as an extra added bonus of that souvenir. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Can you take a picture of us?
Of course, yes. Please, step right up.